You are listening to the Centropic Oracle, an audiobook podcast of science fiction and fantasy short stories that make you think and feel.
Fresh and Finite by Moskalik. The woman's eyes widen and her face flushes a livid red as if I'd just slapped her. Lucky? I tell you I have terminal cancer and you say I'm lucky? Would you rather live forever? I'm baiting her. Not nice, I know, but I've been drinking and I'm in a mood. Her eyes narrow, but she takes the bait anyway. Sure, who wouldn't? Immortality. I sip my scotch as I warm to my favorite topic. At first it seems like such a boon. The first 1,000 years are grand, maybe even the first 1,000,000. You become the most powerful person alive. But then the rest of humanity dies off and you're left to wander the planet alone. Maybe you have some cockroaches to keep you company for the next 100,000,000 years, but eventually even they die off and the Earth becomes a hot, dry ball of dust until, at last, the exhausted sun blows up into a red giant and envelops the planet. But you can't die. So for the next 1,000,000,000 years or so, you burn within this inferno until finally the sun dies too. For the next few 1,000,000,000 years, you sit and watch the other stars burn out one by one until all is cold, empty blackness. What little is left is swept up into massive galaxy-sized black holes, and there you reside for the next 10 to the 100th years. Your eye blink spent burning in the sun is a blissful memory, but even this phase ends when all the black holes dissipate into a diffuse cloud of ever-decaying particles, and so you stay for an incomprehensible time, growing ever colder. In a weak, longing voice you whisper, "Let there be light." And a tiny little spark appears. This is good. You blow on this spark and it expands and resolves to galaxies, then stars, then planetary systems. You start dreaming up life forms, plants, insects, fish, birds, beasts. Now if only you had someone to talk to, so you dream up someone like you, but all he wants to do is run around naming the plants and animals. Then he has the temerity to complain that he is lonely. Lonely. He doesn't know the first thing about lonely. So you make him a mate, and they get busy populating your world and complaining. Complaining all the time about how it's too hot, or too cold, or there's too many people, or not enough people. So you say, screw it, these people don't deserve to live, and you flood the world, drown them all. Except for one guy and his family, because you couldn't stand to be alone again so soon. Well, as soon as the world dries out, they go right back at it again. You try another tack. Maybe you can teach them from your vast experience a better way to live. At first it seems to be working. People follow you, listen to your every word, but then just as quickly they turn on you and hang you up. You realize at that moment that they really don't know what they're doing. Maybe you even say something to that effect. But anyway, rather than just hang there for centuries, you fake your own death. After they take you down, you take the first opportunity to sneak quietly away. From then on, you just drift along, doing this or that, trying to make the most of your perpetual life until almost before you know it, the Earth dies out again and you're baking in the sun, being crushed in a black hole, then freezing in the cold empty. The next time around, you try on other lives, other philosophies before your next stint in purgatory, and so it goes. An endless succession of brief adventures between long, cold nights of solitude. You try out every one of the possible human lives, then invent alien worlds of every description and live their lives as well. You run through some of the more exciting ones a few million times. You extend the fertile periods of your life by encouraging humanity to explore the universe and create intergalactic empires. You invent sentient stars to converse with and use black holes as massive computers to run simulations to immerse yourself in. At last, you've exhausted your imagination and ingenuity. There's nothing you haven't experienced, no permutation you haven't tried. Now even the brief interlude between eternities seems utterly lifeless and empty to you. Personally, I'd much rather keep life fresh and finite. I look up, but the woman is no longer there. The bartender pours me another drink and says, "You realize she was just a hallucination, right?" I sigh. Yeah. At least you're real. The bartender chuckles. If I were real, your tab would be finite. He pats my hand. Hey man, cheer up. It's only 10 to the 10th to the 56th years until maximum entropy, and then you can start it all over again. Maybe I can think up something fresh by then.
We hope you enjoyed Fresh and Finite by Aaron Moskalik, read by Rob Gillespie. If you'd like to make a donation to the author and narrator of this story, check out the story page link in the description and click the PayPal donate button, or pledge your support to us directly on Patreon. Would you like to submit a story to the Centropic Oracle? A link to our submission guidelines can be found in the description.